All right, let's just get right into it. The whole microplastics thing. I mean, we've all heard about it, right? But the real story is, well, it's a lot weirder and honestly more complicated than you probably think. This isn't just about plastic in the ocean anymore. We're talking about plastic in us, in our bodies. And the story of how it got there, well, that's a story of deception that goes back decades.
I mean, come on, this quote just nails it, doesn't it? Immortal confetti. That's what we've done. For 70 years, we've blanketed the planet in this stuff, and now we're acting surprised when it shows up in our own blood? It's the ultimate irony. We created this crisis for the sake of convenience, and now we're living in it. Literally.
And that brings us to this idea of Homo plasticus. Think about that. The name itself suggests something pretty wild, that we're not just using plastic anymore, we're becoming biologically integrated with it. So you see, this is the key takeaway here. It's not some far-off environmental issue. No, this is personal, this is biological, it's happening inside you right now. It's becoming part of who we are.
So, Section 1, the particle count paradox, which really gets at the heart of the first big question everyone asks. Just how bad is it really? Is this a genuine crisis we should be worried about, or is it just a bunch of media hype? Well, the answer, it's confusing. And as we're about to see, that confusion is not an accident.
Okay, so let's talk about that viral claim. I'm sure you've seen it. You're eating a credit card's worth of plastic every single week. It's a terrifying thought, right? And it went everywhere. But here's the sober reality. The science behind that specific claim is, let's just say, a bit shaky. It was a brilliant, catchy line, but it's an oversimplification. The real picture is way more nuanced.
But here's where it gets really interesting. This is the paradox. Even if the weight isn't a full credit card, the sheer number of particles we're taking in is just mind-blowing. Look at this number, up to 370,000 plastic particles in a single liter of bottled water. We're not just talking about microplastics, but tiny nanoplastics that can go even deeper into our bodies. So yeah, maybe not a credit card by weight, but an absolute storm of particles. So, why all the confusion? Why the back and forth about credit cards and particle counts? Well, that brings us to our next section, the Great Plastic Deception. Because you have to understand, this confusion, it's not an accident. It's a deliberate strategy. To really get what's going on, you need to know who's been lying to us and see the playbook they've been using for years.
And this playbook, it goes way back. Just look at this timeline. In the 70s, oil companies knew about climate change risks. Then, in the 80s, the plastic industry's own memos admitted recycling was basically just a PR stunt. They called it the holy grail of public relations. And that brings us to today, where this idea of the litter rug, which, by the way, was created by the industry, has successfully convinced us that this massive pollution problem is somehow our individual fault. It's a classic move. Shift the blame.
This strategy has a name, uncertainty theater, and they are masters of it. Think about it. They fund their own independent research to muddy the waters. They promote recycling like it's the ultimate solution, even though they know it's not. And their favorite line? More research is needed. It's the perfect way to delay any real action, all while they distract us with small fry issues like plastic straws, making us feel like we're doing something, when really, the whole house is on fire.
All right, so where does that leave us? We know we've been misled. We know this stuff is literally inside our bodies. It feels pretty overwhelming, right? And that puts us at a major crossroads. Do we surrender or do we fight? How are we even supposed to feel about all this? There are two very different schools of thought here.
So let's look at the two camps. First, you've got the case for surrender. This perspective, summed up by Corvus, is basically, it's too late. Every so-called solution is just you negotiating the terms of your surrender. The system is broken, so just learn to love the irony, laugh at the cosmic joke. Then you have the other side, the case for fighting. Gemma and Malcolm's view is that this isn't about perfection. It's about making things even a little bit better. It's a cold, calculated strategy just to survive.
Okay, so let's say we choose to fight. What does that actually mean? What can you really do about it? Well, this isn't about some fantasy of going completely plastic-free. That's just not realistic. This is about a damage control plan. It's about being smart, being tactical, and taking back a little bit of control.
So here's a tactical guide to minimizing harm. 4 simple, high-impact steps. Step 1. Ditch bottled water. Seriously, this is your single biggest point of exposure that you can easily control. Step 2. Ventilate and vacuum smart. A lot of household dust is just plastic fibers. A good HEPA filter can trap that stuff. Step 3, stop heating food in plastic. Use glass or ceramic, especially for hot things. The heat makes chemicals leach out. And finally, step 4, and this is the big one, demand systemic change. Because your personal habits, they're not just habits, they're a form of protest. They signal to policymakers that we're done with the status quo.
So why does any of this matter? Look, the goal here isn't to be perfect. That's impossible. The point is to reduce your risk. It's about reclaiming a little bit of control in a system that has been designed from the ground up to make you feel completely and utterly powerless. It's about making smarter choices for yourself, not stressing about perfect ones.
And that really brings us to the final thought here, from Corvus again. We're all unwilling participants in the longest-running chemistry experiment in human history, and the results are inconclusive. Think about that. We are all lab rats in a massive, uncontrolled experiment. The data is still coming in on what this is doing to us. And really, the only question that's left is, what role are you going to play in it?